Hello, friends, and welcome back to Malicious Compliance Stories. Imagine what a pleasure it is to work your last shift and have a visitor threaten to complain to the boss and get you fired. And our OP could not even hide his malicious smile because he was wearing a mask at the moment. But before we begin, don't forget to subscribe to our channel if you're new here and turn on notifications so you don't miss a new video every single day. Here we go. Complain about me on my last day? Fine by me. So it's my last day at my most recent restaurant job. Now, the restaurant I work in requires all customers to wear masks when they're not at the table. I try to explain that it comes from a corporate level and I have no say in the matter, but I end up dealing with a lot of angry people. I'm a host and a large party comes in. I tell the party that everyone needs to wear masks until they get to the table. A younger, pregnant lady tells me that she's not required because she's pregnant and has a medical exemption. I explain that our restaurant does not recognize medical exemptions and she'll be required to wear one until she gets to the table. The whole group gives me the usual snark, legal arguments, conspiracy theories, etc., but eventually they all put on their masks and are seated. Well, about an hour later, the party's leaving. The pregnant woman comes back to the host stand. She thanks us for excellent service and asks me, in a tone that was polite but laced with contempt, what my name is. Now, it's my last day at this restaurant. The next day I'll be in pajamas, sipping coffee and working from home without a care in the world. With my mask hiding my grin, I tell her my name proudly. My IRL name is unique and very easy to misspell, so I spell it out for her letter by letter and make sure she knows it's right. I'm the only one with my name in the whole restaurant. In a tone that says, "I'm gonna get you in so much trouble," she says, "Thank you," and leaves. All my coworkers joke about it being my last day and how much trouble I'm not going to be in as soon as she calls and finds out I no longer work there. I'm keeping up with Yelp and Google reviews to see if my name pops up, but nothing yet. Even if she complained, you wouldn't get in trouble for doing your job. Isn't it amazing how a surgeon can wear a mask for 12 hours without dying? And our second story. Crazy lady threatens to call the cops on us because I was supposedly following her in the store. So tonight at work, I was cleaning up. We had a cart full of items to go back on the shelves at the very front of the store. I've been going in and out of aisles for about an hour now, and I'm running back a few items for a certain aisle. I'm walking to put some Play-Doh down, and just before it, I see some hair ties. So I put the Play-Doh away and turn to grab the hair ties for the next aisle. I look, and at the end of the aisle, there's a lady just staring at me. I kind of chuckle playfully. I was in a good mood and say, "Doing a lot of thinking?" Because I often see customers staring at me if they're really deep in thought. Crazy lady, very confrontational. "No. Can I help you?" Me, very confused. What? CL. "Can I help you?" Me. Do you need help?" CL. "No. Can I help you?" Me. No. CL. "Okay, because you've been following me around the whole store, and you're making me uncomfortable." Me, putting my hands up to my chest. "Ma'am, I've been doing nothing but cleaning. I'm sorry you think I'm following you, but I'm not." CL. "Well, you were. Now can you please go into another aisle? You're still making me uncomfortable." I turn around and out of the aisle. I put the hair ties back before locating my coworker a few aisles over. I tell my coworker about the confrontation. I tell her I think she might be stealing based on the last thing she said to me and that I was going to find my supervisor. My coworker asked me to show her who it is so she can keep an eye on CL until I find my supervisor. As I turn around to show my coworker who it is, I see CL walking past the aisle. I quickly shuffle myself down the aisle with my coworker. There's a small corner, and just as we go to turn it, we nearly collide with CL. She locks eyes with my coworker and starts talking, asking if she can leave her cart up at front because she needs to step outside for a smoke. My coworker tries to figure out if she'll be coming back inside to continue shopping or if she'll imminently go to check out. I step away during this since my anxiety disorder now has me shaking from the previous confrontation. I find my supervisor sitting in the back taking a quick break. I ask to join him and explain what's going on. Once I'm done and start to relax a bit, my coworker comes back explaining what was going on. She was apparently rambling and talking over my coworker about just needing a smoke and just going outside. It eventually turned to me, and she just went on about how I was following her in 9 different aisles, how she used to work at Zeller's, had lots of money. She knows what retail workers do when they think people are stealing, insisting I was purposefully following her, and she wanted to file a formal complaint. Me, my coworker, and my supervisor sit in the back for a bit, kind of digesting it. I'm lightly crying at this point because of anxiety, so after a bit, I get up once I've calmed down and say that we should get back to cleaning. At this point, we had to assume she was long gone. It was just something to laugh about. Nope, she was at cash being served by one of my coworkers. Her card wasn't working, so my other coworker has to call my supervisor. CL then starts complaining about how I was following her and all that. So far, she's had me and my coworker try to explain it's just a huge misunderstanding, and then my supervisor tries to say the same thing. CL insists I was following her purposefully. I talked to my supervisor later, and he said, I told her she wasn't following you around, it's just a misunderstanding. And she replied, well, I know she was. Anyways, CL had a lot of stuff, so my supervisor offered to help bring it to her car. While at her car, he told me all this a lot later, my supervisor stirred the pot a bit and told her that even though I was making her uncomfortable, it wasn't fair that she was also making me uncomfortable. CL threatened to call the cops on me and my supervisor for harassing and stalking her, and said that it was good I felt bad because that meant I was guilty. While my supervisor was coming back inside, she also said she'd go to hell and was swearing at him. My supervisor found me and explained the situation and how the cops may get called on us. He then told the rest of the team what was up. I start to go into my second anxiety attack because having the cops threatened is scary to me, and I have to go into the back to calm down. While in the back, my supervisor comes in after me and reassures me that a simple complaint won't be an issue as management knows me too well, and that I wouldn't purposely start anything or do anything malicious. During this, the phone rings. My supervisor picks it up, and it's CL asking for the manager. My supervisor informs her that he is the manager and that he's the guy wearing the blue hoodie. She doesn't know our names and only knows us as Blue Hoodie Guy and Black-Haired Girl, which isn't even true, my hair's brown. She hangs up immediately. I relax again and stick by my supervisor the rest of the night. He offered to let me go home early, but I said I would only take it if I started getting upset again, which I didn't, luckily. So one of two things here. Either she was trying to steal and you happen to be going to the same aisle she was. The other is that the woman may have a mental issue that causes paranoia. Try not to let it get to you. You did nothing wrong. And our last story. Entitled Aunt Karen versus Southern Grandma. Context. My uncle's wife, I'll refer to her as Karen, and my uncle as Ron for the sake of the story, has always been very rude and greedy towards my grandparents. She always belittles my grandmother and has picked apart everything from her taste in furniture to her hairstyle. She just is generally a nasty person, as are most Karens. My mom was adopted but bailed shortly after I was born, so it's essentially just been the three of us. Karen believes that I'm a threat to her potential inheritance, and that's how she's always treated me. About 2 years ago, Karen got wind that my grandparents had asked me what I wanted when they pass, which was nothing. I told them when they pass, all I'm gonna want is my grandparents back. Anyway, Karen jumps in her Porsche and scoots her happy behind over to my grandparents' house and starts making small talk while she paces around the house, looking in cabinets and in closets. Very suspect behavior. Firstly, because she never comes over. She'll only come over on holidays after spending all day with her family, and then refuse to stay longer than an hour tops, unless she wants something, that is. So after a while, my grandmother asks, "Can I help you find something?" To which Karen responds, "I'm just looking for what I might want in your will. Ron mentioned you were updating it. We're getting the business, right?" That's what Ron said anyway. It's probably best that way since she's, pointing at me, not really family. He'd also mentioned that you have some original Fiesta wear from the 40s. At this point, I'm almost in tears, partially out of embarrassment and partially because I want to kiss freedom goodbye and absolutely pummel her. My grandmother's jaw hit the floor. Excuse me? Karen, Ron said you had some Fiesta ware that your mother left you? Just wanted to have a look at it to see if it'll coordinate with our kitchen at home. It's only right. She gets to pick, why can't I? Plus, wouldn't it be nice to know that your son and his family are taken care of? Oh, by the way, I'm going to need you to take Jane, cousin, to her tennis match 3 hours away next weekend. I'm too busy with work. I have to take some clients out for dinner, and I don't have time. You'll be okay with staying the night, right? I'll be staying out of town. You can make dinner or pick something up if you want. She proceeded to then ask my grandmother about her jewelry collection and pester her about what her daughters would receive. She even went as far as to ask if she could bring the kids over and have them label all the things they want with Post-its. She inquired about the status of the mortgage and the business finances. Blah, blah, blah. I won't bore you with the smaller details. I'm sure you get the general idea. My grandmother made some polite excuse to wrap up the conversation and promised to go over the details later. Fast forward about a month. I've gone back to my house and I'm tending to daily tasks when I get a phone call from my grandmother. We caught up and chit-chatted, and then she stops and giggles. Oh, I forgot to mention, your grandfather and I finished updating our will. Just wanted to tell you that we put most of the assets in your name. What? We may have to put up with Karen in this life, but I'll go happily into the next one knowing that spoiled hussy won't lay a finger on my belongings and my mama's Fiesta ware. Finn. My grandparents kept a tight fist around the finances, so they have quite a bit of property and own a couple of local businesses. They live well enough to enjoy a stress-free retirement anyway. Way to go, Grandma. Seeing Aunt's face at the will reading would be so awesome, especially if she doesn't know what's been changed. Hey guys, thank you all for watching the video. I'll see you in the next one.